Shri Ganesha Sharada Gurubhyo Namaha Ramaya Ramabhadraya Ramachandraya Vedase Raghunathaya Nathaya Sitaya Pataye Namaha. Welcome to all for the session on Ramayana to chapter 54 of Yuddha Kanda. In the previous chapter, after the killing of Dhumraksha by Hanuman, Ra- the demon Ravana sent Vajradamstra to fight against the army of Vanara. He entered through the south gate, facing Angada in the fight. The extermination of his army through Angada's prowess filled the valiant Vajradamstra with fury, stretching his formidable bow like unto Shakra's thunderbolt. He assailed the monkey battalions with a hail of shafts, whereupon the foremost of the Titans, mounted on chariots, armed with every kind of weapon and full of courage, entered the lists while the monkeys, those powerful bulls among Plavagas, assembling on all sides, fought with rocks. Thousands of weapons were hurled in the desperate encounter by the Titan and monkey leaders, and from their side, the great monkeys with the ardor of elephants in rut covered down giant trees and huge lumps of rock on the demons, so that between those intrepid warriors, the Titans and the monkeys who never retreated in battle, a tremendous struggle ensued. Monkeys and Titans, still possessing heads but bereft of arms and legs, lay on the earth bathed in blood and bristling with arrows, a prey to herons, vultures, and crows, are devoured by troops of jackals. Monkeys and night rangers fell in the battlefield. Headless trunks leaped up to the terror of all, their arms, hands, and heads severed, and their limbs hacked to pieces in the fight. Meanwhile, the army of Vajradamstra, overcome by the monkeys, broke up under his eyes. Whereupon that leader, seeing the Titans terrorized and decimated by the Plavangamas, his eyes red with anger, bow in hand, penetrated the enemy ranks, sowing panic among them. Thereafter he dispatched those monkeys with arrows furnished with heron's plumes that flew straight to their target and pierced seven, eight, nine, or five of his opponents simultaneously, thus destroying them in his fury. Put it to flight, those simian battalions, their limbs crippled by those darts, sought refuge with Angada as all creatures with Prajapati. And when he beheld those monkey divisions fleeing in disorder, the son of Vali exchanged glances of hatred with Vajradamshtra, and in a paroxysm of rage, they entered into a terrible duel one with the other, so that it seemed a lion and an elephant intoxicated with ichor fought together. And the son of Vali, full of valor, was struck in his vital parts by 100,000 arrows resembling tongues of fire, and all his limbs were besprinkled with blood. Then that exceedingly energetic monkey of redoubtable courage hurled a tree at Vajradamstra, but that intrepid Titan, seeing it fall, cut it into innumerable pieces which fell in heaps on the earth. Witnessing the strength of his rival, that lion among the Plavagas seized hold of a huge rock, which is spun around, emitting a shout, and as it descended, that hero, leaping down from his chariot, armed with his mace, stood waiting unperturbed. Meanwhile, that rock discharged by Angada fell on the forefront of the battle, where it shattered the chariot with its wheels, shafts, and horses. Then the monkey broke off a great crag from the mountain once more, and it was covered with trees, and he brought it down on the head of his adversary, so that Vajradamstra, seized with a sudden giddiness, faltered and began to vomit blood, clenching his mace convulsively and breathing heavily. Thereafter, coming to his senses in a transport of fury, he hit the son of Wali full on the chest with his mace, and letting it fall, began to fight with his fists, whereupon a hand to hand struggle ensued between monkey and Titan. Exhausted by the blows, spitting blood, those valiant warriors resembled the planets Mars and Mercury. Meanwhile, the exceedingly powerful Angada, that lion of Plavaga, stood waiting, and he seized hold of a shield covered with the white hide of a bull, and great sword decorated with golden bells, enveloped in a leathern sheath. In the midst of innumerable graceful evolutions, the monkey and the titan attacked each other, roaring and thirsting for victory. With their gaping wounds, they shone like two kimchuka trees in flower, and the struggle robbed them of their breath so that they sank to their knees on the earth. Whereafter, in the twinkling of an eye, Angada, that elephant among monkeys, rose up, his eyes inflamed like a serpent that has been struck with a stick, and with his stainless sword and what that was well sharpened, the son of Vali, who was full of vigor, struck off the huge head of Vajradamstra, whose limbs are bathed in blood. Under the stroke of that sword, his beautiful head fell, cleft in twain, eyes rolling, beholding Vajradamstra slain. Titans, wild with terror, fled panic stricken towards Lanka, harassed by the Plavangamas, their faces woe begone, their heads bowed in shame. Having struck down the enemy with his powerful arm, the mighty son of Wali experienced great joy amid the monkey army, honored by them for his high courage, and he resembled the god of the thousand eyes, surrounded by the celestials. Thus come to the end, chapter 54 of Yuddha Kanda in Ramayana. Namaste Sharada Devi, Kashmira Puravasini, Twamaham Prarthaye Nityam, Vidya Danancha Dehime. Bye.